Good afternoon, everyone. We are going to go ahead and kick things off for our MBA in Healthcare virtual information session. It looks like we do have a few more attendees that are still signing in, but we will go ahead for the benefit of time and everyone go ahead and kick things off. So over the next hour, we are going to chat about Nebraska Methodist College's master's or MBA in healthcare management. So we are going to share a lot of important information about the program, the application process, the admissions criteria, commonly asked questions, all of those sorts of things that you might be thinking about while you pursue an MBA in healthcare. So we will have three presenters today. My name is Megan Kokenge, and I'm the Director of Enrollment Services here at the college. I will be on the call mainly as a moderator and in the background. So you will be interacting with me via the chat and Q&A buttons, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. And then I will let our other two presenters introduce themselves as well. Dr. Robertson, would you like to go first?
Hi, thank you, Megan. I am Dr. Whitney Robertson. People call me Whitney. I'm the program director. I have been with the college for 6 years and counting in this role. So I not only oversee the program, but also teach some of the courses, and I am the advisor.
All right. Thank you, Whitney. Austin, will you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Austin Wagner, and I'm the specific admissions counselor that works directly with MBA students. And I have been here for 6 months.
All right, wonderful. All right, so just a few agenda and housekeeping items before we kick things off. This presentation is being recorded, and we will be sharing this out with those who have RSVP'd for the presentation, and then we also do post this to our college YouTube channel as well. All of the attendees will be in listen-only mode during the presentation, so your video and audio will be muted. However, you are welcome to join and interact with us via the Q&A button or the chat feature, which is located in your toolbar. And that toolbar is either going to be located across the bottom or the top of your screen. So with that, before we get started, we do have a few poll questions that we'd like to ask our audience, just so we kind of can get to know who is in the group and make sure that we gear the presentation towards your questions and your interests. So I am going to ask a few questions, and if you could participate, that would be super helpful to us. All right, so the first question that we have is, when are you potentially interested in starting at NMC or starting a graduate program? All right, so it looks like just over half of you are interested in a August start, which is our fall term. And about 40% of you are undecided. You're not sure yet. We do offer a May start, which is just right around the corner. That would be our summer term. And we'll chat about all those different dates and deadlines as well. All right, the next question that we have for our attendees is, what is your current level of education? Are you currently in college? Have you earned your bachelor's degree? Maybe this is a second master's degree or a second graduate degree. We do have a lot of students who come through the program who've already completed a graduate program, and they want that business side of things. All right. All right, so it looks like we have a really good mix between bachelor's degree, master's degrees, and those of you who have doctoral degrees. So that is great. Very common. All right, and our last question is, how did you hear about Nebraska Methodist College? So we have several choices, and you can select those that apply to how you may have heard about Nebraska Methodist College and or our MBA program. All right, so it looks like a big group of you heard about us through a friend or family member. and some of you received an email or postcard from NMC. All right, that is great. So we are always actively trying to promote this program, and word of mouth is actually our one of our #1 forms of marketing here at the college, which we're super proud of. So thank you for sharing that information. All right, I am going to hand things over to Austin, and he is going to share a little bit of information about Nebraska Methodist College.
All right. For some of you, this might be the first time that you have interacted with us. So I'm going to go over some just quick facts of the college. We have 40 plus areas of study. They are all in healthcare. We have 130 plus years in education. 33 states are represented. On the next slide, we'll kind of see where those are for our graduate students. We also have 100 plus community partnerships. We work deeply with our community and try to develop those partnerships. And also we have upfront pricing. I'll talk about that in a little bit here, very specifically, but we want to make sure that when we have those prices, there's nothing that's going to surprise our students, and everything will be upfront in terms of pricing. All right, so for the next slide here, you can see our graduate student population. We have a student in each one of these 33 states on the map. The program is great for students living in any state, as we do not have any on-campus requirement for this program. All right, NMC at a glance. Here are just some quick facts, again, about NMC. We are a private college focused on healthcare education. We are celebrating over 130 plus years here, like we discussed earlier. And right now, currently, we have over 1,200 students enrolled. And we are also directly affiliated with the Methodist Health System. Throughout this presentation, you'll see why that's a benefit. We also offer certificate programs to doctoral degrees. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hand things off here to Dr. Whitney Robertson, and she's going to share specific academic information regarding our MBA in healthcare program.
Hi, thank you very much, Austin. I appreciate that. Well, I want to thank everybody for attending over your lunch hour to listen to more details about the program. If you've been to our website, methodistcollege.edu, and you've happened to glance at the details on this program, you may have come across our program outcomes. So program outcomes, what is a student supposed to have accomplished or achieved by the time they complete their MBA with us? There are 5 program outcomes. I'm not going to read them, but what I want to mention is that they are all aligned with the American College of Healthcare Executive competency domains, right? So that is the professional society for healthcare leaders. And our program is designed to complement what ACHE considers to be necessary competencies. So best practice in leadership, strong communication skills, data-driven decision-making, a good understanding of the healthcare environment and a focus on the patient and the community, and of course, business principles. So you're going to learn all that in our 36 credit hours, all of which is 100% online. So as Austin mentioned, there is no on-campus requirement. That does differ a bit from what some other MBA programs require. Way back when I went to business school, my coursework was all on ground. This is the complete opposite. So you can complete all 36 credit hours of our program wherever you have a good internet connection, essentially. You can attend full-time or part-time. This is not a cohort-based program. You will enter with a group of other students, but your progression may differ. You may go faster, you may go slower, and that all depends on your preference. If you would like to take fewer courses in the summer term, you will work with me to figure out what your plan of study will look like. If you want to get done as quickly as possible, we can develop an accelerated plan that makes sense for you. So that accelerated plan would have you graduating in about 16 months. So that is 1 calendar year plus 1 semester. So it's 4 semesters. You can take 4 classes in the fall, 4 classes in the spring, 2 in the summer, and then finish with a second fall term of 4 courses. The program was created with a working professional in mind, going back to the 100% online format. We have, I'm going to say, almost virtually every student in who has gone through the program has had a full-time career. This program is perfect for those with not only a full-time career, but probably family as well, a personal life that they want to be sure doesn't get neglected. So we believe strongly in the online format, allowing a good balance and a good flexibility with life's other activities. It's not uncommon for students to be doing their research and their reading and their writing and their submitting of assignments late at night from their dining room. This is where I would do it if I were a student in the program. I'm in my dining room right now, or a hotel room, or staying late at the office when things are kind of quieter. They can shut their door and get a little bit of coursework done. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of other MBA programs out there. Ours is unique for 2 reasons. One is because it is specifically focused on healthcare business. And the other is it's 100% online. So when you put those 2 features of our program together, we are unique, at least in our region. The focus on healthcare business is really important because it's an MBA in healthcare. And healthcare is a very large industry, the largest industry in the economy. It's also a very unique industry. So it makes sense to learn about economic principles that are specific to healthcare, right? Finance specific to healthcare, debt ratios, operating margin. These things are different when you're talking about a healthcare organization than if you were talking about manufacturing. So it is important to us to differentiate our program. All of the courses, and in fact, I think it's the next slide or a couple slides later, you will see the term health or healthcare show up in the titles of a lot of the courses. Everything you learn is through that healthcare lens. That said, it's still an MBA. And as you may know, an MBA is probably the most recognized graduate degree that there is. An MBA is an MBA in any industry, including healthcare, but not only to healthcare. So when you graduate, you've got that MBA. You took all your courses focusing on healthcare, but you could, also do some consulting on the side, or maybe you have a real estate license and an MBA will benefit you there. So very versatile degree. At the end of your program, you complete a capstone with us instead of a thesis. A lot of people think of a thesis as very research-oriented, contributing to a larger body of knowledge. That's important, but that's not the focus of what our culmination of the master's here is. We're less focused on research. We're more focused on quality improvement or evidence-based management. Those are the guiding principles that we use for students to develop a business proposal to solve a real problem in a healthcare setting. And I will talk about capstone a bit more later on. Great. Most courses, 8 weeks in length. Not all courses. We do have, for example, the capstone. That is a full semester, a full fall or spring semester at 15 weeks. There are also a handful of courses that are cross-listed with other graduate programs. Those are 10 weeks in length. So you do have to have a pretty good attention to detail when looking at the courses that you're taking each semester. Are they the 8-week format? Are they the 10-week format? Are you doing an 8-week and a 10-week at the same time? What's the overlap there? And this is all, very doable. We can print out your schedule. You probably have good time management if you're even thinking about this program. But most of them are 8 weeks in length, which means that you can complete an entire course before the fall break or after the fall break, same in the spring semester on either side of the spring break, and then take a second course, meaning it's a very common plan for students to take 2 courses in the fall and spring semester, one before and after that break, which is a week long. Almost all coursework is completed on your own time. So as I mentioned, 11 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning, 5 o'clock at night, as soon as you get home, on your own time. Some exceptions, these are pretty rare, but there are sometimes when courses do have synchronous sessions. So these are held by Teams, which is kind of like Zoom, what we're on now, but Microsoft Teams. You will get in advance of the scheduled session an invitation or an announcement. We're planning to have a Teams meeting at a certain date and time. Please clear your schedule. And those are always optional because as a working professional, we know that people have many other commitments. But the purpose of these synchronous sessions is oftentimes it's to kick off a class together. So to come together in the first or second day of a course and talk about the syllabus, talk about the expectations for the course, any Q&A. Another example of why a team session might be held is if there are presentations, which there are in the capstone course and some others. But those meetings are scheduled around your availability. In the graduate world, especially in the online world, there's a lot of reading and researching of the best available literature, plenty of writing. So I hope that either you like writing or you can learn to like writing, or you can at least pretend that you like writing, because there is a fair amount in this program, just like any other graduate program. Anything from short memos to a full-fledged business plan. And capstone is not the only course where you will be developing a business plan. There are a couple of others as well. Presentations, as I mentioned, either given over a Teams synchronous meeting or recorded. We have that capability with our learning management system called Brightspace, where you can essentially turn the camera on yourself and record yourself giving a presentation and upload that as an assignment. There's a limited amount of group work. I don't know of any business school that does not have group work, because it's part of learning how to function as a business unit, and it's a good way to practice communication and teamwork and even negotiation skills. So there is a limited amount of group work in this program. As it is an online asynchronous program, that does mean that you probably have to exchange phone numbers with your other members of the group and figure out times when you can get together and discuss your project. At the graduate level, we do not see a whole lot of quizzes and exams. The few quizzes that are required in this program are mostly for reinforcement of basic economic principles or basic accounting rules, things like that. So not a whole lot of emphasis on quizzes and exams, so heavy emphasis on reading and writing. And then again, at the end of the course, or at least close to the end of the course, either the second to last semester or the final semester, you will spend the 15 weeks in capstone, which is a course that I developed and I teach. I developed it to be an opportunity for students to apply principles of evidence-based management. Coming up with a data-driven solution to a real-world problem that they have identified in their place of work. And as we all know, there are problems where we work, small opportunities or large opportunities for improvement. Why not address them in this course? It's a 2-for-1. You've got to complete the course, and wouldn't it be great to finally tackle a quality improvement opportunity in your place of work? So the capstone course requires students to progressively develop a business proposal, which has a development of articulation of a problem statement, a literature review, an organizational assessment, etc., but to progressively put those pieces of the business proposal together with a lot of interaction and feedback from me, and then to present, essentially pitch or sell your proposal during one of those synchronous team sessions at or near the end of the course. And in fact, we have ours for the current MBA capstone class tomorrow evening. So students will be selling their ideas online to a panel of us tomorrow evening. Okay, this is the slide where I said you may notice how frequently the word health or healthcare shows up here. These are the courses that are either required, those are the MBH core courses on the left side, or are part of the elective curriculum of the program. So on the core side or the left side, there are 10 courses there. 9 of them are for credit. And then the elective courses, we require 3 are taken. So altogether, we require completion of 36 credit hours through the program. And again, you can see that the focus is heavily in healthcare. You can also see in the course names, some prefixes, right? So IDS 500 stands for Interdisciplinary Studies. That's the IDS. You can see that in a couple of locations here. Those courses have not only MBA students enrolled in them, but also graduate students from other programs, hence interdisciplinary. And this is a nice opportunity for students to come together, not only in different programs, but with different backgrounds, working in different areas of healthcare, and be able to exchange ideas through discussion forums and potentially through group work. It's good exposure to other programs in the school and to other perspectives throughout healthcare. On the elective portion, these are not necessarily in order, but among all those courses there, they roughly break down into 3 themes. So as I mentioned, elective, you get to choose your own adventure. You get to pick which electives you want to take to round out your MBA curriculum. You may be personally interested in a topic. You may find that a certain topic is professionally relevant, but those 3 areas are quality management. So students can earn Lean Six Sigma certifications for completing 1, 2, and 3 of these quality management courses. After completion of the first course, the student would earn a yellow belt, green belt for the second course, and a black belt for the third course. This comes at no additional cost. You successfully complete the courses, and you not only get a grade and it counts towards completion of your MBA, but you get a Lean Six Sigma certification. We mail you with the certificate. So quality improvement is one focus area. General administration is another focus area. So organizational management, healthcare IT. And then the third area is in informatics, which IT also fits into. Now, you don't have to stick with these 12. I think there are 12. I don't know. I can't remember how many. That is not the extent of all the electives that you have to choose from. You may also look in our college catalog to see what other graduate courses are available. For example, there is a lifestyle medicine course that's fantastic. There are other organizational behavior and theory courses that are wonderful. And so we do allow a little bit more flexibility in that part of the curriculum.
All right, thank you, Whitney. So now I'll discuss what the application and admissions process looks like for those of you that are ready to take the next steps. All right, so our admissions criteria is fairly simple and straightforward. We require at least a bachelor's degree or higher from an accredited college or university. And then the degree itself does not have to be related to healthcare. We do have a requirement of a GPA of a 3.0 or above and a quality written statement. And the non-Nebraska residents must meet the state authorization. And when it comes to the state authorization, we have to post this via state regulations, but we are happy to share that currently all 50 states meet the authorization requirements, and that we are eligible to offer this program throughout the entire United States. All right. The application process continued. We do have a free NMC online application, so the application itself doesn't cost at all. And then for the written statement, both the written statement and resume can be sent to our admissions email, and you can see it above there. We'll also be posting that admissions email along with my email at the end of this presentation. Our website is a great resource for those students looking to learn more about our program, but that is also where the writing prompt is for the written statement. I will make sure that every student that applies will get a link to that. And if you have any questions on where to find that, just let me know. But you can answer the written statement in several different formats. The first, you can just go ahead and write an essay as long as those the 3 questions are answered, or you can specifically number them 1, 2, 3 and answer those questions. Official college transcripts, I think that's kind of important, is the official. Please make sure that you're sending them officially. Go on to the college's website that you're sending those transcripts and get them ordered officially. And at the very end, you'll have a professional consultation with me once all of the materials are submitted. Basically, I just want to make sure that your questions are answered and you are good at where you're standing. All right, so for the MBA application deadlines, I saw in the poll earlier that no students are specifically saying that they're wanting summer, but if that changes, or if someone wants summer, we would need you to really get on it and start sending in us those transcripts as soon as possible, because as you can see, classes start May 15th. That's just a little over a month away. For fall 2023, our classes start August 14th, and the prior deadline is May 1st. That doesn't mean that I will let students know after May 1st if they get their admission materials in before that point. I will let students know that they are admitted as soon as they get those admission materials into us. And then the standard deadline is July 7th. So if you're really thinking the fall start is what you want to do, I would highly encourage at the last deadline that you put in is for that July 7th date. Try to get everything in by that time. Applications will be accepted and reviewed on a rolling basis until the fall term is filled. So keep sending in those materials and I'll review them as I get them. All right, here is an outline for our costs. And earlier on in this presentation, I mentioned that we have upfront pricing, and here it is. We are based on $741 per credit hour. And as Whitney also said, we have a program that is in total 36 credit hours. We do have a $150 enrollment deposit, but keep in mind that $150 will be credited towards your first semester's tuition. And we do have fees, but really the fees that we have are technology based. And for the fall and spring terms, the technology fee is $210. And for the summer term, it's $105. All right, I also wanted to go over some additional financial aid information with you. Just like you have a designated admissions counselor like me and a designated academic advisor and Dr. Whitney Robertson, our MBA students will also have a designated financial aid counselor. That some of you, it's kind of important that you start out with our great financial aid advisor, and he'll be with you throughout this whole process. And the specific financial aid counselor's name is Mark Arojo, and he's been here for quite some time, and he's really great at what he does, and he's going to be happy to work with you as he works with all of our graduate students here. Completion of FAFSA is required to be eligible for financial aid. And then you can see our school code is posted there. But while you're filling out the FAFSA, you can also search for Nebraska Methodist, and that will come up. And obviously the 2023-2024 FAFSA is now open. So once you fill out your application, you can start working on that. Students are encouraged to research tuition assistance programs through their employer. One thing that we encourage students to do. But as we mentioned, we are connected with the Nebraska Methodist Health System. Our Human Resources Office does offer tuition assistance program benefits for employees that are pursuing education. This could be a benefit to physicians or future physicians or students currently working in the healthcare system, as many employers do offer that. So sometimes, this is kind of important to note, employers will want to see some sort of documentation from the college to show that you are currently enrolled or pursuing a program. That documentation could include items like your class schedule, course descriptions, and other items. We are happy to help with that. Just let us know how we can be of assistance to you. We also offer a 20% discount for those specifically working for the VA. Just let me know that you're a part of the VA office, and I will work with you and our billing office to get you that 20% discount. All right. Transitioning to student services. Although the program is online, there are still a variety of resources available to you. It is important to us that the same resources to on-campus students are also available to our online students. So academic advising, when it comes to academic advising, you do have a dedicated admissions counselor and an academic advisor in Whitney. And she does a great job. She knows the curriculum inside and out. She'll be a great resource for students that want to take more classes. And she does a great job in knowing that this isn't like a specific cohort where students have to take certain classes at certain times. Actually, this is pretty more focused on the student, where students can kind of ramp up their coursework or slow down their coursework as needed. Just talk to Whitney. We also have other academic support services. Specifically, we obviously do have some on campus physically, but those resources are also available to our students online as well. So if you have an accommodation that needs to be served, or maybe you need assistance with time management, they can meet with you virtually or over the phone. And if you are local, we can also set an individual appointment one-on-one with you on campus or whatever works best for you. Counseling services, again, we have online virtual counseling services that students can utilize. We also have in-person counseling services, but we make sure that the online option is available to you as well. The John Moritz Library is a great resource for students, but keep in mind, it's not just the library, it's also the librarians and the staff that work there that are a great resource. They're a great resource for our graduate students and wonderful to work with. They also make sure that you're on the right path when it comes to research projects as well. So make sure you're reaching out to them. And also, I guess you may be sensing a theme here, but again, we have an in-person brick and mortar bookstore, but we also have an online bookstore. You can order your books online from us as they'll be sent to you. They usually are connected with your class schedule, so it is a quick and streamlined process. Also, it is important to know that our faculty does their best to choose books that are as affordable as possible. So if there's a more affordable option, they choose to go with that one more often than not. We also offer writing support, and the majority of our graduate students are online, so our writing support services are offered online as well. And finally, technology. If you have not experienced online education before, these are the folks that can help and assist you with your questions. We have what is called our NMHS IT help desk. We also have Ed support that is located here at the college. Ed support is available during regular business hours to answer any questions you might have about your account, or if you're just experiencing any technical issues. I can personally attest several times that they are very helpful people on campus and are routinely assisting folks when issues arise. So they're no stranger in getting these issues resolved. Since we are also connected with the Nebraska Methodist Health System, we also have 24/7 support through their IT help desk as well. So that would be if you're studying late at night, maybe it's 2 a.m. and you need help resetting your password, they can help you get that reset, and they will assist you with that as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and welcome Dr. Whitney Robertson and Megan back to the conversation, and we'll go over some commonly asked questions here. And after this, we'll open it up for questions for everyone else. So if you have a question in mind, we'll take some time here to put that in the chat here in a little bit. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and ask this first question here. I'm working full time. Is it possible for me to complete a program like this?
Well, this program is designed and maintained for to meet the needs of working professionals. I can think of one student in my 6 years with this program who has not had a full-time job, and everybody else has and successfully completed the program. It is possible. It does require time management. It does require working closely with me to map out a course load that you will find manageable on a semester to semester basis. But with it being 100% online and very limited times when you need to be on a Teams link at a certain date at a certain time, we limit those. Then yes, we want you to feel like your life is as balanced as possible. And faculty, I'm not just saying this, our faculty really want our students to have good mental health, to be successful, to feel like faculty are accessible. So if life happens, something comes up and, oh my gosh, you've got to be out of town for a week, or there was a health crisis. Can you have an extension on your due date? Please reach out to faculty. Despite having a full-time job, which is a very high priority, having a family and a personal life, also an extremely high priority. We want the program to fit in, and not to supersede, but to fit in with your other life activities.
All right. So will you take transfer credit?
We do. We can take up to 9 credit hours transferred in. We do have to evaluate your preferably a syllabus, but sometimes we can find that information ourselves if you just give us the course number and the course title, where you took it and when you took it. We need to confirm that you earned the credit from an accredited institution. And we prefer for those credits to have been earned, well, it depends on the class. Something like healthcare policy, where policy changes a lot, that would need to have been earned within the last 5 years. Something like statistics, right? Statistics doesn't really change. We can look farther back to see when you took that class and potentially award credit, but you may transfer in up to 9 credits from another institution.
All right. So what types of careers are people in now that have completed this program? So where do they go?
Great question. Well, let's be honest. For the most part, people they're working in the program, and when they graduate, our exit survey data shows they're still working in their careers. Now, I can think of plenty of alumni who have since advanced. They did not immediately upon graduating with their MBA get that promotion, but they have, since their time earning their MBA, now, 6 months, a year, 2 years later, now they have climbed the ladder. We also have people who are still in the process of working their way to their goal, to the role that is their next goal. So they're in all areas of healthcare. Students come into the program, as Austin said, one does not necessarily need to have a 4-year degree in healthcare. We will welcome anybody with a 4-year degree, with a bachelor's degree. And we see students with a wide range of roles, mostly in healthcare. So as a result, our graduates are in a wide range of careers, mostly in healthcare. We have people at the C-suite level. We have folks who have gone on to have leadership roles in quality, to have leadership roles in value analysis, to be working in contracts and negotiations. So it's just as vast as the industry of healthcare itself. We have people in a number of exciting roles. And I do want to mention that there are a variety of reasons why people would even choose to pursue an MBA. For example, you're a lifelong learner and you've always been curious about, the business of healthcare, and right now is the perfect time. So lifelong learners. We also have folks who, as I mentioned, have their eye on a certain role in healthcare, and they know that they need to have a graduate degree to get there. So they're going to, right now, while the timing is good, get their master's degree. And then when that role opens up, they have the qualifications to get there. And then we have folks who have a vague idea that they want to climb the ladder and end up in leadership or in a higher tier of leadership than where they currently are. And they know that an MBA will help them get there. So they don't have a specific role in mind, but they know that down the road, if they're still in healthcare, doors will open up and the MBA will help those doors open up.
All right, great answer. Thank you. How much time, this is kind of a fun question, how much time per week will I need to commit to studying?
Oh, yeah, that's a really fun question. So it changes week to week and it depends on the course. That's the safe and, boring answer. But we do have we have a calculation that we try to use at the college. So we use a well-recognized definition for what a credit hour is. And there's a computation. So for each 3 credit hour course, if the course is 8 weeks, and as we said, most courses in this program are 8 weeks and 3 credit hours, you will be spending about 17, that's the magic number, 17 hours, give or take, and it varies week to week and it varies on the course, but 17 hours a week. So what does that consist of? Well, certainly reading what is posted in the course, reading your book, researching, going to the John Moritz Library's website and finding articles, thinking and processing all of that synthesis that is done consciously and even subconsciously. So as you're going about your daily job, your full-time job, you may find an opportunity to apply a quality improvement tool. And so that counts as part of the 17 hours. The writing counts, the posting onto discussion boards counts. If you were to take 2 8-week courses at once, then on any given week, you're looking at about 34 hours of work. And, that does start to get up there, but we have students who, they know that it's going to be a busy 8 weeks because they've got the 2 courses and they've just planned accordingly and they're getting it done.
All right. Next question. Will I have support with the scholarly capstone project? Yeah,
and I just to reiterate, the capstone course, I teach it. I walk with the students each and every step of the way, one-on-one. And although I am almost never this subject matter expert, because students are choosing to tackle such a huge array of issues in their capstone projects. For example, right now, to be presented tomorrow night, a student will be talking about how to bring down rates of hospital-acquired pressure injuries and why there should be some interventions that the health system undertakes to bring the rate of pressure injuries down. Well, I'm not a clinician. I don't know a whole lot about pressure injuries, so I'm not the subject matter expert, but what I do offer is that evidence-based management way of thinking, how we can arrive at what is the best solution for a hospital to put a plan in place that will have buy-in from the stakeholders to reduce the rate of pressure injuries. How are we going to measure that the intervention was successful? What is going to be the cost of the intervention? What will it result in? How will we analyze the cost and the benefit? How does this factor into value-based care, right? So I don't know, I probably won't know a whole lot about your particular topic, but I will be able to support you in framing your business proposal using the best available evidence and how we can sell it, right? Because it's a business plan. We need to convince leadership that this is the right plan to solve the problem.
All right. Okay, so I think this is a great question because I see a lot of this in the inquiries that I work with. But let's say I've been out of school for a while. Can I be successful in this program?
So I hear this question a fair amount as well. And give yourself, if this describes you, it would describe me if I were going back into school. I've been out of school for a very long time. But if this is you, expect there to be a little turbulence at first, right? Before everything calms down. And so learning anything for the first time, that does take a bit of a learning curve. And I would say maybe within 4 to 6 weeks, roughly, that's when, because I check in with new students on a pretty regular basis, how's it going? But about 4 to 6 weeks, I hear I'm starting to get the hang of it. I know to log in every day. I know where to go within our learning management system to look for answers to questions. Something that will help you tremendously to be successful as early as possible in the program is to start interacting with your faculty and me as your advisor as well. But for each course, you will have a faculty member. I can't encourage that enough. We faculty are here to help you succeed, to make you believe that you are never asking anything that's a dumb question, to point you to other resources in the college if needed. And so that can certainly help sort of lower that activation barrier so that you can be successful from the get-go. But as your advisor, I'm always here. I will be your go-to person from start to finish.
Okay, thank you. And then this is probably a question for both of us, but how do I get started?
Yeah, I'll let you can just have it.
Yeah, I'll take it. So really, it starts sometimes with either emailing me or with the application. You can email us, either myself or Dr. Robertson with questions, or fill out the application. And from there on, we'll be in contact with you. And it's a pretty simple process, like we said earlier. Get the application in, get your transcripts in, answer the written statement, and then the resume. And then from there, we'll go ahead and review your application and let you know your next steps after that point.
All right. So now is the time where if any of our participants have any questions that they'd like to submit, you can submit those via the chat feature or the Q&A button located in your toolbar. And there have been a couple of questions that have come in. So I'll go ahead and ask those to Whitney and Austin. And those of you on the call, feel free to submit any additional questions that you would like our panelists to answer. So one of the questions that came in was in regards to students that are pursuing this degree as a second graduate degree. What other programs or careers are students coming from as far as second graduate degrees or professional degrees, and how are they using the MBA to supplement that? So I think we've had a pretty diverse group, Whitney. We've had physical therapists, doctors of physical therapists come through the group, physicians come through the program. We've had chiropractors come through the program. But isn't it safe to say that they know healthcare and they know that position, but now they're looking to add the business acumen to that?
That's exactly it. Healthcare just has so many different positions. And I guess the only way you can really break them down is clinical and non-clinical, right? So we have providers and non-providers. So all kinds of students come through the program, for the most part, graduate in the same or very similar role to what they started with, but now they have this credential and they're on a faster track to get to that higher management or into a leadership position. It is just, I can never guess who's going to be the next student to join the program, because it really comes from all areas of healthcare, to environmental, to strategic sourcing, to coding. I really think that people, is exactly as you said, they feel like they've got a great handle on the clinical side or the non-clinical side, whatever their specific role is, but the operations, the strategic business decision making, the business back end of how healthcare operates, is a bit of an enigma. And so this degree helps to pull the curtain back a bit.
Okay, on the flip side of that, how about candidates who are new graduates and little professional work experience? What does that look like while you're in the MBA program?
Oh, new graduates from their 4-year degree?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Yeah, so there have been some brand new college graduates, and they are smartly aware that healthcare is a terrific industry to work in, largest industry, growing industry. They just don't have that healthcare experience. Well, the MBA in healthcare works for them too. Now I will say it works for them because they meet the criteria of having a 4-year degree. However, I strongly favor a student who at least works part-time in healthcare while they are in this program, because so many of the principles that we teach through our courses here are meant to be practiced and applied. And that is most successful when you have a job where you can test these tools and principles out, or talk to your colleagues about, I learned about this, and now I see how this actually works day to day. Otherwise, you don't get that opportunity to apply your coursework directly. So at least having a part-time role, or I suppose even a volunteer role in healthcare, but having some sort of experience in healthcare while you are concurrently taking your coursework is, I think, where you're going to get the most value.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions from our participants? Okay, I am going to hand things over to Austin, and he will chat with you about next steps.
All right. If you're ready to take the next steps, you can contact me at admissions. You can see below, there's my contact information with my phone number and my email. You can also set up a one-on-one virtual visit, and I'd also be willing to meet with you virtually. And you can scan the QR code there or go to that link. After you, contact me, and if you're interested, you can apply in and start turning in your materials. There is also the NMC admissions office contact information. That admissions@methodistcollege.edu email is going to be the place where you're going to want to send your transcripts, your written statement, along with your resume. But also feel free to send it to me. Otherwise, I think that's it for the webinar. I'd like to thank all the panelists for joining us, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.